Hey friends, how you doing today? Thank you for joining. My name is Mackenzie and I'm representing YogaPod Fort Collins. I'm here to guide you through what we call on the schedule a pod basics class. Now, I think we are actually going to maybe change the name to pod alignment at some point, because really the point of these basics classes, it's not necessarily only for beginners or people who are new to yoga. I think the basics classes can come in handy for any level of yogi. And really what we do is we break down some of these foundational postures that you see in so many of the yoga classes that you go to, whether or not they are hot, vinyasa, ashtanga. There are many different styles, yin, restorative. You will see a lot of these postures integrated into these different styles of yoga classes. So we break down the postures. We really focus on alignment, not necessarily speed or strength, but focusing on alignment, which in turn will increase your strength and your speed through your yoga classes. So today specifically, we're focusing on forward folds. So some of the foundational things regarding forward folds is it tends to open up our hamstrings and our low back. Really the whole backside of our body becomes opened up as we forward fold. So just kind of keeping that in mind through any of these postures with the forward folds. Find a slight bend in your knees if you feel too tight in your low back or your hamstring area. So I will guide you through with those cues, but just know in the back of your head that any position that we're getting into, if you're feeling any sort of discomfort, maybe just find a slight bend or softening of your knees, and that may help you feel a little bit more comfortable in the postures. So I did link a Spotify playlist if you like to listen to music when you flow, which I do personally. You can click on that link and it will take you to a playlist that I created for a basics class. You can also look on my account there, and I have a bunch of different playlists that I've made for my classes that you can take a peek at. So looks like we got a couple people hopped on. If you're on, go ahead and say hi. Let me know how the sound and the lighting is. But we will get going here. So you won't need, hold on, let's get my microphone hooked up here. You won't need much in regards to props. Hold on, let me get my, okay, cool. Sorry, there, hopefully my sound's a little bit better. I didn't have my microphone plugged in at all. So if you're watching, let me know sound and lighting, how it looks, how it sounds, and we're gonna get started here. So for the beginning of class, we are coming into a child's pose. Got some people on here. Hey, Lauren, awesome. Thanks for joining. I'm glad to have you here. Sorry, I got distracted with the props. If you want a prop for class today, I would say the only thing that you really might need would be a strap. We're going to be opening up the hamstrings a little bit. Sometimes the strap allows us to reach down and put it around our feet, so we don't have to feel like we have to be grabbing our feet as we're stretching our hamstrings. So if you don't have an actual yoga strap, that's totally okay. For today, I'm using just like a winter scarf. You could use like even like a sweatshirt or something like this, something with length, because where we're going to use this is to do a motion like this. So anything that has length on it, feel free to utilize. Today, again, you won't absolutely need that. I'll give you some modifications if you don't have a strap. So we're going to start in child's pose. So this is a pretty foundational posture that you see a lot in maybe a restorative or a yin class, or even to start one of your vinyasa classes. So this is a forward fold in and of itself. You come down onto your shins, knees open wide towards the edge of the mat, and your hips are sinking down onto your heels here. Now, before we fold forward, we do want to lengthen through our spine. So we don't just want to slouch through into our child's pose. We do want to lift up through the top of our head, really find length through the spine, And then start to walk your hands forward, coming into your child's pose. So you're dropping your torso down to the ground. Maybe you can drop your forehead or your chin down as well. Reach your fingertips out towards the front of your mat. And just kind of settle in. I like to kind of shimmy my hips from side to side, really sink down as much as I can. Reach my fingers a little bit further towards the front. And just find your space here, find your foundation. These four corners of your mat, it's such a sacred place here, and I'm so glad that you joined today, honored your body, your mind, your breath to show up on your mat. So begin to just focus here on your breath. Where's it at? Are you taking really shallow, short breaths? Are you holding your air up in your upper chest? So just take notice. Don't make any changes yet. Just notice where you're at with your breath. Some days were better than others. And as you take note of this, then start to find length where it's needed. So maybe your inhales need to be just a couple of seconds longer. Maybe shoot for 4 seconds inhale. And then follow it with 4 seconds on your exhale. Counting helps me with my breath. It helps give me something to focus on so I know where I need to go with my breath, how long I need to be inhaling and exhaling. Being okay with the stillness and the silence, especially here at the beginning of class. Just a couple more rounds here. Use your inhales and your exhales. So on your inhales, maybe lengthen your spine out a little bit more, shimmy your fingers up, and on your exhales, sink a little bit deeper into your hips. One more round of breath. On your next inhale, go ahead and shift forward into a tabletop position here. So we're just using this as a transition, but your hands should be under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Go ahead and curl your toes. And on your exhale, downward facing dog. So begin to lengthen out your legs, send your hips up high to the sky. You're lengthening through your spine. You're really pressing the mat away from you, and this sends your chest a little bit closer to the top of your thighs. Now again, just using this downward dog as a transition. We'll come back later here. We'll break this down. But on your inhale, gaze to the top of your mat, and with small steps, begin to walk your feet towards your hands at the top of the mat. So you're coming into a forward fold here. So first, deep forward fold of class. Again, let your head hang heavy. Take the top of your head, reach it down to the ground, and gaze back behind you here. Again, soften your knees as much as you need. You can sway from side to side, just kind of warming up here through your hips, through your low back. Couple more rounds of breath. Your feet should be approximately hip-width distance, and you're rooting your feet through the four corners of the sole of your foot. So on your inhale, come back to center. Your fingers are underneath your shoulders. Inhale for a halfway lift. Keep your fingers on the ground. Lengthen and lift through your heart and your chest. And exhale, fold forward. Let your heart go heavy over your thighs. So we're going to do that 2 more times here. Inhale, halfway lift. Your fingers can come to your shins. Again, you're lengthening through your spine. Send your shoulders back behind you. Then exhale, fold forward. Last one, inhale, halfway lift. You can soften through your knees, lengthen through your spine. And exhale, fold forward. Again, feet hip-width distance. On your inhale, slowly come up to standing. Hands will stay down next to your side, palms face forward. This is Tadasana. mountain pose. It's a very foundational pose. I'm going to face the camera just for the sake of the video. But again, feet hip-width distance. Go ahead and lift all 10 toes off of the mat. Find your foundation through the soles of your feet and then lower each toe down one at a time. Imagine roots literally growing beneath your feet here. So standing here in mountain just looks like I'm standing here, no engagement, but we are finding total body engagement through the standing posture. So lift up through the entirety of your legs, up through your hamstrings, lift right above your kneecaps. Find just a very slight tuck of your tailbone. That'll give you that total engagement that you need all around your core, 360 degrees around your core. Now from here, lift up through the top of your head, lengthen through your spine. If your shoulders have lifted, go ahead and draw them down your back, soften your shoulders. Palms face out in front of you. Now go ahead and close your eyes. Feel this foundational posture, Tadasana mountain pose. Now we're going to move here with our breath. So on your inhale, reach your arms overhead, drawing your fingers up to the sky. Your arms are going to frame your face here. Now again, if your shoulders lift, go ahead and draw them down. Dial your pinkies in towards the midline. You're engaging through your arms, through your core, through your legs. Extended mountain, Urdhva Hastasana. Use your exhale to draw your hands through heart center, thumbs to your chest, palms pressed together. Inhale, extended mountain, root to rise, reach. Exhale, hands through heart center, thumbs to your chest. One more time, inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, fold forward, hinge at your hips here. Keep a flat spine the whole way down. Move slow. Again, bend your knees as much as you need. Coming back into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Root to rise. Inhale, extended mountain. Reach all the way overhead. Exhale, hands through heart center. Draw your thumbs to your chest. Again, engaging through your low body. Inhale, extended mountain. Exhale, fold forward. Uttanasana, hinge at your hips. Again, keep that flat spine. Shine through your heart the whole way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen through your spine. Bend through your knees as much as you need. Exhale, fold. Let it go. Inhale, extended mountain, root to rise, reach. Exhale, hands through heart center. Samastihiti, we're standing at attention. Draw your thumbs to your chest. Inhale, extended mountain, reach. Now a little bit different this time. On your exhale, chair pose. So sink your hips back behind you, bend through your knees as if you're sitting down into a chair right back behind you. Now your arms stay lifted, your chest and your gaze stays lifted, but weight should be back into your heels. So shift some of the weight back, maybe send your hips back and down a little bit more. Hug in through your belly, keep breathing here. Inhale. And exhale. Hinge at your hips, forward fold, hands through heart center. Inhale, halfway lift. This time, exhale into plank. So plant your hands, step back into your high push-up position here. So we're just using this for a couple of rounds of breath to build some strength, build some heat. Your wrists are directly under your shoulders here. Now you don't want to sink down into your shoulders. That is going to cause injury over time. So you're finding engagement. You're plugging your elbows into the socket, pressing almost right in between your shoulder blades, pressing the mat away from you. Now at the same time, you don't want your hips piked too high. Draw them back to center. If your hips are sagging and too low, go ahead and bring them back into center. You're hugging through your core, finding strength along your back as well. Hold here for one more inhale. You're engaging through your legs, sending energy out through your heels. And exhale, drop to your knees. Use your breath to lower your belly all the way down into the ground. So we're moving into a cobra pose from here. So our hands are already directly under shoulders. Bring your chin to the mat. Your feet, your toes are rooted into the earth so much that your knees might lift off the ground. Inhale, cobra pose. Lift your head, your neck, your upper back. You're finding strength along your back body and opening through the front. And exhale, lower your chin down to the mat. Curl your toes. Inhale, press up, tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog. Find that inverted V with your body here. Now in your downward facing dog, you really want to find a big wide grip through your fingers, almost as if you're palming like a basketball or a volleyball. So lift through the palms of your hands. Bring a little bit of weight into your fingertips, and this is going to help save your wrist. It's going to release some pressure from your wrists. So again, here in down dog, you can find a generous bend through your knees as much as you need. If you notice that your hamstrings are really tight, maybe you're feeling some pain in your low back, that is going to be an indicator to bend or soften your knees. Now as you do that, that brings your chest a little bit closer to the tops of your thighs. That's what you're going for. Lift your hips high, pressing the mat away from you. Keep breathing here. One more inhale. Stay for your exhale. Inhale, gaze to the top of your mat, bend your knees. And exhale, move into child's pose. So draw your knees down to the ground, hips to your heels, arms extend out in front of you. Maybe bring your forehead back down to the mat. And just settle here back into your child's pose. Take a few breaths here. We kind of warmed up the body with a soft opening of class. But as we begin to move further, I do want to highlight some of the things that we're going to be working on with these forward folds. So again, we've been talking a lot about opening and stretching the hamstrings. So again, soften those knees as much as you need. And then over time, you can begin to straighten your knees as you find more length and opening in your back body. This is also going to help open up your hips and your calves, find strength within your knees and your thighs. And most of these forward folds become an inversion where your head is actually below your heart. So this helps inadvertently relieve stress. It begins to lower your heartbeat. And you can kind of calm your breath a little bit more when you're in those inversions. At the same time, we're finding compression through our internal organs. So this really helps with digestion and circulation. One more round of breath here in your child's pose. On your inhale, shift forward back into your tabletop. So your wrists under your shoulders, knees under your hips. And then we're going to come lying onto our back. So go ahead and grab a seat towards the middle of your mat and come lying all the way back onto your mat here. And we're going to take a reclined big toe to hand pose. So bend your right knee, and if you're using that strap that I had suggested at the beginning of class, or I'm using a scarf, really anything that has length to it, place it around the ball of your right foot here. Now you want to find your grip as close to your foot as you can, while also allowing your right leg to lengthen and straighten out in front of you. So that is what is so important about these straps, is if we really have tight hamstrings or we can't actually reach the toes, this still allows us to get the full stretch. So you want your right toes flexed towards your face. I really feel this in my hamstring, and to take it deeper, I just bend my elbows. I try and stretch it a little bit more. Do not overdo it here. Take your breath, take your focus to the back side of your right thigh here. Breathe into that tightness and that tension. Keep your hips rooted to the ground. Keep your shoulders rooted to the ground. Keep on breathing. We'll do one more round here. If you don't have a strap, just lengthen your leg and maybe interlace your fingers right behind your thigh. You can get that same stretch with or without the strap. Last round of breath. And then you can bend your right knee. You can release the strap if you were using it. Maybe pedal it out a little bit. And then we'll find this here on the other side. So right leg goes long and straight. Left leg lifts. Go ahead and bend your knees. If you're using the strap, place it along the ball of your foot. If not, again, straighten through your left leg and interlace your fingers right behind your thigh. The toes of your left foot should stay flexed. This is going to allow you to get deeper into your hamstring. Keep it as long and straight as you can. And then to take it deeper, maybe bend your elbows. Maybe pull the strap a little bit closer to you. But always know if you need to bend your knee here or soften it a little bit, feel free to do that. And then over time, you can try and work towards straightening that leg as you open your hamstring. Shoulders are rooted to the ground, hips are rooted to the ground. One more inhale. Maybe take it a little bit deeper on your exhale. And then slowly release. You can pedal out your legs here. And then we'll start to rock and roll. From the front to the back, maybe your hands are behind your thighs, gaining momentum with each rock and roll. Until you come into tabletop, press your hands, step back one knee at a time. Any transition that gets you there is fine. Now we're going to do a few cat-cows from our tabletop position. So wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. We're going to begin with cow pose. Drop your belly, take your gaze up on your inhale. And exhale, cat. Press the mat away here. Hug in through your navel. Inhale, cow, filling up your belly. Gazing up, maybe soften through your elbows. Exhale, cat. Find that flexion through your spine, right in between your shoulder blades. Hug your chin to your chest. Two more. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Last one here. Inhale. Move slow and with intention. And exhale, cat. Excuse me. Inhale, back to tabletop position. Curl your toes. And exhale, downward facing dog. Send your hips high. Find length through your spine here. Again, bringing a little bit of the weight into your fingertips to release pressure from your wrists. Couple rounds of breath here in your down dog. Again, soften your knees as much as you need. Inhale, right leg high. Send your right heel to the sky. Now, you don't want to open through your hips. You want to keep your hips square to the ground, but reach through your heel. And exhale, step through to lunge. So right foot next to your right thumb. Right knee should be directly over your right ankle here. And for the beginning of this posture, your left knee is lifted. You're finding engagement through your left thigh. Chest is lifted and gaze out in front of you. We're here for an inhale. On your exhale, go ahead and drop your left knee. Come back into a half splits. So walk your fingers back underneath your shoulders, straighten through your right leg here. Now this is a deep hamstring stretch, and you do feel that compression along the front side of your right thigh. So keep your right toes flexed. Your right leg is as long and straight as you can get it. Now notice here, you want your left knee directly under your hips. So make any adjustments that you need. Keep your chest long and straight though. You're shining through your heart. You don't want to curl into this. You really want to find length through your spine. And then breathe here. Any tension or tightness that you feel on the back side of your right leg, your hamstring, your calf, your low back, go ahead and send your breath to those areas. And Maybe if you want to take it a little bit deeper, use your exhales to just bend your elbow. This brings your chest a little bit closer to the top of your thigh. One more round of breath. Inhale, slowly creep and crawl back into lunge. So you're bending your right knee, your fingers are coming under your shoulders. Lift your left knee back, so we're back into our low lunge. Then step back into your high plank here. We're gonna hold here for one whole round of breath to build strength. Inhale. And exhale, lower to your knees, draw your belly down to the ground, setting up for cobra pose. Hands under your shoulders, tops of your feet root to the ground. Now zip your feet up as if it's one cobra tail here. You're working your heels together. Inhale for cobra, lift up, stretch through your belly, strengthen through your back. Exhale, lower down. Now we're going to do 2 more cobras here, just trying to get a little more length with each one. Inhale, lift up, very little weight in your hands, work your elbows back behind you. Exhale, lower, chin to the mat. Last one here, inhale, cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, lower, chin to the mat. Curl your toes under. Inhale, tabletop. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take 1 round of breath here, fill it up. And exhale, let it go. Moving through the other side here. Inhale, left leg high, 3-legged dog. Again, not opening through our hips. We're keeping our hips square to the ground. Sending our left heel high. Exhale, lunge, step through to your left thumb. So find that alignment. Left knee directly over left ankle. If your left knee is coming too far forward, go ahead and toe heel that left foot up, finding that alignment that you need on this left side. Now your right knee is lifted, your right leg is as long and straight as it can be. Shine through your heart and your chest. Take your gaze out in front of you. And on your exhale, drop your right knee to the ground, move into a half splits. So lengthen and straighten through your left leg, flex your left toes back towards your face here. Your hands are under your shoulders. Your right knee is directly under your hips. Now again, your spine is long and straight. You don't want to be folding through your spine. Take it any deeper. You'll bend through your elbows, bringing your chest towards the top of your thighs. Keep on breathing back to the back side of your left hamstring. One more round of breath here. Inhale back to lunge. Creep and crawl your hands forward. Bend through your left knee. Lift your right knee off of the ground. And step back into high plank here. High push-up. Hold here for 1 breath. Use your exhale to lower. Drop to your knees. Lower all the way down onto your belly with your exhale. Now we're going to try just a different variation. So bring your hands to the outside edges of your mat, almost cupping the ground here, as if you're trying to protect 2 cupcakes. Try not to ruin the frosting on the top. So again, chin back to the ground, tops of your feet root into the earth. Inhale, rolling cobra. So almost like the waves of the ocean. First lift through your back, then your neck, then your head lifts. And then exhale, lower the same way down. 2 more rounds of breath. Inhale, rolling cobra. Roll up through your back, your neck, your head. And exhale, lower your chest, your chin, your forehead. Last one. Inhale, lift. Rolling with your breath. And exhale, lower down. Hands under your shoulders. Curl your toes. Inhale, tabletop. And exhale, downward facing dog. One round of breath together. And exhale, press the mat away, send your hips up a little bit higher. Moving along with our flow, inhale, right leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, exhale, lunge, right foot to your right thumb. Now we're setting up for warrior one here. So take notice of your left foot. Go ahead and root your left heel down into the ground. So your left foot is about at a 45-degree angle. Right knee is bent. So low body stays the same from here. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. So you're lifting your torso, you're lifting your arms, fingers lift high to the sky. Now go ahead and draw your hands down to your hips. Take notice of your low body. Again, your right knee should stay over your right ankle. Your feet should be on two separate train tracks here. Blade edge of your left foot roots into the ground, and then lift your fingers back up high. You want to work to square your shoulders to the front of the space. Now your hips are going to stay open just a little bit here, but you can work your shoulders towards the front. Keep the bend through your right knee. One more inhale. And exhale, lunge. Plant your hands back down to the ground. Step back into your high plank. Hold here for an inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. One round of breath here. Fill up your lungs. Exhale, let it go. Other side, inhale, left leg high, three-legged dog. Kick back with your left heel. Exhale, lunge, step through to your left thumb. Right heel plants to the ground, about a 45-degree angle. Inhale, rise up, warrior one here. Virabhadrasana one. So hands to your hips. Let's find this foundation. Left knee over left ankle. Keep that bend in your left knee throughout this entire posture. Your sole of your right foot, the blade edge of your right foot should root into the earth. Work and square your shoulders to the front of the space. Your hips will follow, but they will stay open due to the nature of your feet. Last step, arms reach overhead, hug in through your low belly, draw your shoulders down your back. Now keep on breathing. One more inhale. And exhale, lunge. Plant your hands down to the ground. Step back, high plank. One full round of breath here. Inhale. And exhale, downward facing dog. Breath together, fill it up. Exhale, let it go. Same thing we just did. Inhale, right leg high, kick back through your right heel. Exhale, lunge, step through to your right thumb. Setting up for warrior one with our feet, left heel roots to the ground. Inhale, warrior one, rise up. And hold here in your warrior one. Use your inhale to take your gaze up, reach through your fingers. Exhale, airplane your arms. So draw your arms down and back with your palms. So palms face the ground. You're hugging your elbows back behind you, hugging your shoulders back behind you, but keeping the bend through your right knee. Your chest is lifted, your heart and gaze is lifted, and you are breathing. One more inhale. Stay for your exhale. Inhale, warrior one, reach up high through your fingers. And then use your exhale, open up star pose. So turn over your left shoulder, coming into a 5-pointed star. So toes out, heels in, creating an X with your body. And exhale, horse. Draw your hands through heart center, sink through your knees, drop your hips down. So big hip opener right here. Gaze down. You want your knees to track over your toes. You want your torso directly over your hips. So if you're hinging forward, go ahead and draw your shoulders over your hips. Keep on breathing here. Breathing into your hips. Maybe you settle a little bit deeper on your exhale. Inhale, rise up. So arms come to a T and parallel your left foot. So it's parallel to the back end of the mat. Toes point out in front of you. Right toes point towards the front of the space. Now, gaze down at your feet. You want to find heel to arch alignment. So the heel of your front foot should draw in line with the arch of your back foot. So we're here on an inhale, arms to a T. Exhale, warrior two to the front of the space. Bend your right knee here. Right knee over right ankle. Blade edge of your left foot roots into the ground. Arms are at a T. No, your arms aren't loose. You don't have noodle arms here, or like Brad likes to call it, the ghost. You're stretching your fingers to the front and the back of the space. You're engaging through your arms. This is total engagement through your upper body. Hug your belly in, lift through the top of your head. And keep on breathing here. One more inhale. Stay on your exhale or sink a little bit deeper into your right knee. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Back over your left shoulder, toes out, heels in. And exhale, let's horse again. Draw it down. Just setting up here. Inhale, arms to a T. Parallel your right foot. So it's parallel to the back, the front of your mat, this would be. Left toes point to the back edge of the mat. Find that heel to arch alignment here. Here, inhale. Exhale, warrior two. So bend your left knee. Now I like to bring my hands to my hips. I like to find that heel to arch alignment. Feel the engagement through my lower body. And then reach my arms out. Again, no noodle arms. Find engagement, almost as if you have lasers pointing off of your fingertips. Hold here for one more inhale. Hold or deepen on your exhale. Inhale, rise back up, 5-pointed star over your right shoulder. And on your exhale, bring your arms to a T, parallel your feet. So we're moving into a wide leg forward fold. So here we go with forward fold, different variation. Inhale, lift. And exhale, hinge at your hips. Now move slow. Take control of this forward fold. Keep your arms out. Move with control all the way down until you can release your head towards the ground. Take your gaze back behind you. Just take a few minutes here. This is a deep inversion. Our head is below our heart. Now here in this wide leg forward fold, I'm going to recommend you bring your hands under your shoulders here. Now shift just a little tiny bit of your weight into the ball or the top part of your foot. Now this shifts your hips directly over your ankles, which is that proper alignment that we're looking for. Again, hands under your shoulders. Take your gaze back behind you. Inhale for a halfway lift. Then exhale, lunge to the front of the space. Creep and crawl to your right. Bend your right knee. Your left heel lifts. So we're back here into our lunge position. Step back with your right foot, high plank. Inhale. And exhale, downward facing dog. One round of breath together. Inhale. Exhale, sink it a little bit deeper here in your down dog. Inhale, right leg high, 3-legged dog. Exhale, step through, right in between your hands here. So pivot your left foot so it becomes parallel to the back end of the mat. We're going to inhale, rise up, warrior two. We've already been there. And exhale, extended side angle. So first, reach your right arm in front of you, and then tick-tock your arms to 6 and 12. So extended side angle, your right arm comes to the inside of your right thigh here. pressing your right knee back behind you, opening through your right or your left shoulder. Inhale, rise up, back to warrior two. And then using this as a transition triangle pose. So straighten your right knee here. Bring your hands down to your hips. Gaze down. Find that heel to arch alignment. Heel of your front foot in line with the arch of your back. Bring your arms back out to a T. Inhale, gaze over your right fingers. And exhale, triangle pose. So reach your right arm forward. This sends your left hip to the back until you can no longer go any further. Tick-tock your arms, 6 and 12. So here in our triangle pose, we're not dumping down into our right side. So we're lifting through our obliques on the right side of our body. Also lifting through our fingers. Keeping your breath. On your inhale, rise back up. 5-pointed star this time. So toes out, heels in, arms up. Exhale, horse, sink it down. Transition, inhale, rise back up, arms to a T. Now to the back of the space. Turn your left toes to the back of the space. Right foot becomes parallel to the front of your mat. Inhale here. Exhale, triangle pose. Reach your left fingers to the back of the space. Your right hips are going to send to the front. And then exhale, tick-tock your arms, 6 and 12. So again, we're not dumping down into our left side body. We're lifting through our left obliques. Both legs are long and straight. Both arms are long and straight and engaged. One more inhale. Stay for your exhale. Inhale, rise up to 5-pointed star. Exhale, horse again. Bend your knees, hands through heart center. Inhale, rise up. Arms to a T, parallel your feet, setting up for your wide leg. Exhale, fold forward, Prasarita, Padottanasana. Now move slow and with control. And then eventually you can let your head hang heavy. Drop your hands under your shoulders, gaze back behind you. And again, bring the weight into your soles of your feet, the ball of your feet at the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, lunge to the front of the space. Creep and crawl to the front. Step back, high plank. Exhale, down dog. Send your hips high. One round of breath together. Inhale. And exhale, let it go. Awesome job, you guys. We're moving into our peak posture of class here. So inhale, right leg high, 3-legged dog. Exhale, step through to lunge directly in between your hands. Pivot your left foot so it's parallel to the back end of the mat. Inhale, rise up, warrior two. So we've been here before, bend through your right knee. I totally brought us into the wrong position. Sorry, cartwheel your hands back down into a lunge. So bend through your right knee here. We're moving into warrior one, not warrior two. So plant your left heel down to the ground. It's at a 45-degree angle. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. Virabhadrasana one, fingers reach up high. Bend through your right knee, blade edge of your left foot roots into the ground. Now draw your hands down to your hips and then step in with your left foot. We need to find a smaller stance. So bring your left foot in a couple feet and your foot is still at an angle. Right toes point forward. You want to straighten through your right knee. So we're standing here preparing for our pyramid position. So draw your elbows back behind you. Your hands should be at your hips. Draw your elbows back behind. This shines through your collarbone, shines through your heart. Maybe you gaze up a little bit. And then exhale, forward, fold here, finding your pyramid position. So go just until your spine is parallel to the ground, and then drop your hands down. Maybe your fingers just root into the mat right now. So the thing about pyramid is we're not folding in. Like the other postures in class, we're finding length through our spine. So we're lifting and expanding our heart towards the front of the space. And then to take it deeper, we're bending through our elbow. Now this is where we're going to find the opening through our hamstring, through the back of our thighs. We've been working on that all through class. So this is the peak posture to kind of take it as deep as you want. Again, to take it further, just bend your elbows. Keep your spine long and straight, working your chin down to your shin. One more round of breath. Exhale, take it as deep as you would like, breathing into the backside of your right leg. Now to release, I'm going to have you micro bend through your right knee here, and then just step your left foot to meet your right, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, step back into high plank. We're going to hold this high plank here for one inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. So other side, inhale, left leg high, three-legged dog, kick back through your left heel. Exhale, lunge, step through to your left thumb. Now dial your right heel down to the ground, right foot's at 45-degree angle, rise up, Virabhadrasana 1. Square your shoulders to the front of the space, your hips will follow. Keep lifting through your fingers, keep bending through your left knee, right leg is long and straight. One more round of breath. And exhale, draw your hands down to your hips. Now, this time we're stepping in with our right foot, a couple of feet, keeping that right foot rooted at a 45-degree angle. Hands to your hips, draw your shoulders back behind you. This is opening your heart a little bit more. Maybe you gaze up. Use your exhale, pyramid. Hinge at your hips, keep that flat spine. Now move and hinge forward until your spine is parallel to the ground. And then go ahead and drop your hands, fingers down to the earth. Now just breathe here through the backside of your left leg. Allow it to open up with each round of breath. And you want to keep your chin off your chest. You want to keep your spine lengthened. And to take it deeper, just bend your elbows. You will feel this along your calf, your hamstring, your low back. Keep on breathing. Keep on sending your intention to those areas of tightness. One more round of breath. Work your chin to your shin, gaze out in front of you. Now draw your hands, we're going to bend through your left knee, step your right foot to meet your left, forward fold, let your head hang heavy. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank, step back here. Using this to build strength, one more inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog, send your hips high. One round of breath here. Hold for your exhale. Go ahead and release your knees down to the ground. Since we've been doing so much, go ahead and sit towards the middle of your mat. Since we've been doing so many forward folds, I figured the first posture we could do of our cool down would be just a little bit of a hip opener. So come seated towards the middle of your mat. Your knees are going to be bent. Now take your feet out as far out in front of you. You don't want your bend to be very deep here within your knees. Hands back behind you. Now we're taking a figure 4 seated variation. So lift your right leg and cross your right ankle over your left knee. So your right knee is bent, and then you can take this as deep as you want. Flex your right toes towards your face, and you have some options here. You can literally lift your left heel and take it back to your glute. Or with your hands propped behind you, you can lift your hips and send your hips closer to that left heel. But just know that the closer you bring your hips to your left heel, the deeper the stretch is going to be. And you're going to feel this stretch on the outside of your right hip. Kind of breathe into the inside edge of your right hip. Wherever you feel any tension, just breathe there. Keep your chest lifted though. One more round of breath. Now to release this, just toe heel your left foot out in front of you. And then you can release your right leg, maybe pedal it out. And then we'll find this same variation on the other side. So left leg over your right knee. And then go ahead and take it as deep as you would like, either by lifting your hips and sending them towards your heel, or bringing your heel back towards your glutes. Flex your left toes here. Breathe into the outside edges of your hip, wherever you feel that tension, maybe breathing into the inside edge of your hip as well. Keep your chest lifted, you're kickstanding with your hands back behind you. Now to release, go ahead and toe heel your foot out in front of you. Release your left leg, maybe you pedal them out again. And we're going to do a forward fold here. So since we are so warmed up with the forward fold, let's take a gentle one. So both legs out in front. Again, flex your toes as much as you need. Now, if you've been bending your knees through class, if you had tight hamstrings and calves, go ahead and find a slight bend right here as well. Toes flex towards you. Release any real estate underneath your sits bones. Really root down into the ground. Reach your arms overhead on your inhale. Bring your palms to touch. And then exhale, hinge forward. So you want to keep your spine long and straight. You're not hunching in as you fold forward. You're shining through your collarbone as you hinge at your hips. That is why it's so important to bend through your knees. If you need, straighten them out as you gain a little bit more space on the back sides of your legs. Now again, just like everything else in this class, to take it deeper, bend your elbows. This will allow you to keep your spine long and straight. And it will send your torso towards the top of your thighs. Chin to shin or chin to your toes. Keep breathing here. You feel a big compression on the front side of your body. So if you're having a hard time breathing into your belly, energetically take your breath to your backside body. Breathe into your kidneys, the back sides of your lungs. One more round. On your inhale, you can just slowly and gently walk your hands up your legs, coming back to a seated position. Now we're going to come lying onto our backs. So go ahead and bend your knees, reach your arms out in front of you, and then slowly lower down, one vertebrae at a time. Go ahead and bring your knees up into your chest, hug up into a little tiny yogi ball here. Find that compression. Reach in between your knees, squeeze, and then take a full body stretch here. Bend your knees here, bring your heels back towards your glutes. Now we're going to take just a very simple supine twist. So simply just drop, or no wait, how are we going to do this? We're going to toe heel our feet out towards the edge of the mat. So this is kind of a constructive rest where we usually have you drop your knees toward the midline. But what we're going to do here is start to windshield wiper your knees from side to side, from the left to the right. Move slow here. Bring your knees back up to center, then we're going to send them to the left, taking a very simple and gentle twist. Maybe you take your gaze to the right. This just allows you to stretch a little bit more through your mid to upper spine. Keep on breathing. Inhale, knees back to center. And then exhale to the right with your knees, to the left with your gaze. Keep on breathing. Inhale, knees back to center. Again, hug them into your chest. One last time. Take a full body stretch. So as if it's the first stretch of the morning, reach your hands back behind you. Kick your feet out in front of you. And then move here into your final Shavasana. So I recommend your hands down next to your side. Put your feet splay open wide towards the edges of your mat. So take up space here. Widen your feet a little bit more. Soften through your toes and your ankles. Close your eyes here in your Shavasana. This is your corpse pose. So the beauty of yoga, and especially the class we did today, we were moving slow with intention, but we started in a child's pose. We kind of grew our yoga practice, our yoga sequence, our yoga life within that hour. We grew, we stood tall, we expanded, and then now we're kind of slowing it down, we're drawing it back inward, coming into your corpse pose. This whole practice is like a lifetime, from start to beginning. Soften here through your entire body here. Soften through your legs, your knees. Soften through your hamstrings. Melt through your hips and your belly. Melt through your fingers and your wrists. Soften through your arms, through your shoulders. Let them melt down into the ground. Feel some warmth, feel some opening through your cervical spine. Now we always tend to hold a lot of tension here in our jaw, so release your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Soften through your jaw. Maybe your lips come slightly agape. Melt your ears down into the ground. Soften through your eyebrows, through the space right in between your eyebrows, your third eye center. Soften through your forehead. Melt into the ground, but feel the earth support underneath you. Thank you so much for showing up today to build this yoga practice within yourself, finding that connection with your breath, your body, and your mind. It's been an honor. The student in me sees the teacher in each and every one of you. Namaste. Thanks again for joining. Next Tuesday, we are going to be moving through twists with this basic flow. It'll be at noon, but just know that we are going to continue to offer these live classes, multiple classes a day, until we're able to get back into the studio. So thank you so much for joining me today. Have a good rest of your Tuesday.